we can go with our first article, right? And the first article deals with First Lady. I almost forgot her title. Jill Biden. She goes to Kenya, and this article was from February. And the thing about it is, right, is if you notice, what does it say? Jill Biden talks safe sex and condoms with Kenya's young people. First of all the things that Kenya needs, and I'm not Kenyan, so I don't know all the things that Kenya needs, but if it's anything like everywhere else where Black people are, the list of things they need is definitely longer than my arms, and probably as long as Shaq's arms if we write in very small writing. But yet, what is she over here talking about? Quote unquote, safe sex and condoms. Now, here's my thing. Whose parent are you that lives in Kenya? None of your children live in Kenya. You're nobody's mother, grandmother, aunt, or nothing. Who are you to have this type of intimate discussion with people in Africa when a lot of times young people in Africa not talking to their mothers and fathers about this stuff? And who sent their children there to listen to this European female have this type of intimate discussion with their children? And why do we allow these people to come into our spaces and give us this rhetoric and this psychological warfare and let them just war on our children continuously? Because if she's talking about that, that just opens up the discussion for all types of other inappropriate stuff, right? So she goes over there. She does that. She says that she has these discussions, blah, 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 blah. She has meetings with government officials. We know that. We know how this works. You don't just go over there and meet with random young people, young adults, children, and all that. And so she does that. And I don't even know if it's worth even reading the article. Let me just look at it and see if there's anything in here worthwhile. Because I just picked them up and I scanned through them and I didn't read them all. Not gonna lie to you, okay? It says it was a Saturday of learning for U.S. First Lady Jill Biden in Kenya. She praised young adults for learning about quote unquote safe sex and dating practices, attended a meeting of women who created their own banking system, and chatted with local entrepreneurs who have been helped by a program that connects tractor owners and farmers. All three programs aim to help women and young people take control of their lives so they can support themselves and their families. Stop right there. What's so hilarious is, I'm not gonna lie, I scanned the article, but I didn't read the article. Here's what you know is the trick. The trick is that they said the programs that they have focus on what? The women. Not the men, but the women. Not the men and the women, but the women. In other words, she went over there to spread what? Feminism. And I just did a lecture on it a month ago. Less than a month ago. This is how it works. I said in that lecture that in the European conception of what power is, it's a zero-sum game. So whenever you say a European give power to any subgroup, they're taking power from another subgroup, right? So just think of it. They think of power like a pie, right? You got 360 degrees. And that if you take something out and get handed to somebody else, then that much less is available to the other person or group of people. So when you see them quote unquote empowering women, they're depowering men. And this concept was exposed by one of their feminist icons, and I've drawn a Betty Ann Friedan, where she talked about it, the one that wrote The Feminist Mystique back in the 60s. She said in an interview, that's part of the lecture, that part of Piece of Black Pearl Inc., part of what she called the revolution, which she was talking about, the feminist revolution, is telling men that they don't have to be strong and masculine and have big muscles and they can let their hair grow and all this stuff. So in other words, her concept of empowering women was effeminizing men, and she stated it plain as day 50 years ago, and none of us ever saw it or listened to it or thought about it, but now we already here. And now Jill Biden is over there running the same game that they ran here 50, 60 years ago. I got the video clip. The clip is so old, it's in black and white. And the way it was filmed is like real weird. And it make her look kind of like a ghost because her face is moving, but the shadow of her face still stays up on the thing. Right, sister, Urugu is silly.
In my opinion, the other half of the revolution, the other half of women's liberation movement is the boys in my country and in yours wearing their hair long, you know. And those boys who are wearing their hair long are saying no to the masculine mystique. They are saying no to that brutal, sadistic, tight-lipped, crew-cut, you know, Prussian, big muscle, you know, Ernest Hemingway, kill bears when there are no bears to kill, and napalm all the children in Vietnam and Cambodia to prove that I'm a man, you know, and be dominant and superior to everyone concerned, and never show any softness. Well, these boys that are wearing their hair long are saying, no, I don't have to be all that crew-cut and tight-lipped. I don't have to be dominant and superior to anyone. I don't have to have big muscles because there aren't any bears to kill. I don't have to, you know, kill anybody to prove anything. I can be tender, and I can be sensitive, and I can be compassionate, and I can admit sometimes that I'm afraid, and I can even cry. And I am a man, and I am my own man. And that man who is strong enough to be gentle, that is a new man, and he is the other half of this revolution, and he will.
So we see it right there, brothers and sisters. You heard it right from the horse's mouth, so to speak. And the thing no one ever asks is, when you look at the names, it becomes obvious. Betty Ann Friedan, Gloria Steinem, Bella Abzug, and you see these people, you see these women, and we talk about feminism and talk about why it's being pushed, and we talk about what the women are doing, and we talk about the divide between, in our case, black men and black women, but you see it in the wider community, and you hear people talking about Western women and things like that. But we never get to the root. We never discuss who's at the root of it. We never look at the names. The names will tell us. Steinem is a small hat. Abzug is a small hat. Betty Ann Friedan is a small hat. These are the architects of the modern feminist movement, and we see that just like with the civil rights movement, you see the small hats that go around, they go and get some sister that they can take and prop up and put in front of them or put beside them, and then you see, next thing you know, they recruit black women into it, and now we're here in the condition we're in, divided and confused and not knowing what's going on, and no one wants to point the finger at the people that are root of the problem. Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Also follow us on our other social media platforms. On Instagram, we're at dc.radical1. On Twitter, we're at dc_radical_one. And the Cashapp is $DcRadical1. Again, thank you for subscribing. Abibi for ODA and straight black pride.